Okay, so I realized yesterday my video did not upload correctly, and I guess that's okay for now. Let's go ahead and move on with our lesson, okay? So there you go. First of all, I want you to go ahead and copy these questions. This one I'm gonna do with you. This one you do on your own. With you, alone. You already know, right? So let's go to a new page. So what number was it? It was number 6, solve for x. I'm not quite sure if you can see this color, so let me change. Okay, and the equation looked like 36x squared, and then minus 64 equals 0. Okay, so what do you want to do when you see something like this? Solve, so you already know that you have to change it so it looks like this. Now there's many ways you can do this. You can actually use the quadratic formula. You can even do the big X if you wanted to. But the easiest way to solve this kind of problem is just by pulling out a number, okay? So let's see. I'm looking at both numbers and I'm thinking, what can I divide both numbers by? Maybe 2, maybe 4. But instead of doing all that stuff, let's do it the other way, okay? I'm going to go ahead and add 64 to both sides, okay? So then that's going to give me 36x squared is equal to 64. Now what am I going to do? Yeah, divide both sides by 36. And so now x squared is equal to, when you divide this, you're going to get, let's see, you can divide top and bottom by 4, right? Am I right? I hope so. So then that's going to give me 1, 6 on top, and 9 at the bottom, right? So now we want to find out what x is equal to, not what x squared is equal to, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to find the square root of both sides. Okay, now keep in mind whenever we find the square root, we have to include the positive and the negative. Okay, so x is now equal to, positive and negative. And the big square root of 16 over 9 can be separated into square root of 16 and square root of 9. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and finish it off on the right hand side because I know you can't see at the bottom. So there you go, x is equal to plus or minus. And what is the square root of 16 anyway? That's a 4, right? And what is the square root of a 9? That's a 3. And there's your answer. So here's a really easy way to do it, right? Now, you can also use the quadratic formula. You can also use the big X. And I challenge you to use those and see if you can come up with the same answer, because you will. Okay, but then I'm just showing you the easiest method for this, okay? So now you already know it's your turn. Go ahead and solve 6b right now, okay? Ready? Go. Now let's move on to question number 7. What quantity should be added to both sides of this equation to complete the square? Okay, I'm doing this with you. So let's go to a new page. Number 7, I'm not going to write down the English because you should have copied from right here, right? Okay, let me just write the numbers down. X squared plus 12x. And that equals, let's see, -1. So it was asking what number, okay, what quantity should be added to both sides of this equation to complete the square. Whenever you see the word complete the square, that means you gotta make the big square, okay? Now, with that in mind, okay, this is so easy because it's not really asking you to go all the way to the vertex form. It's just asking you what number do I have to add, okay? So this is like x squared. I'm gonna show you two ways. One is using the picture, right? Remember the big square and the side lengths were x. And then how many x's do we have? We have 12 of them. That means we have 12 of these long rectangles. This side is 1 unit long and this side is x units long. And so 1 times x is just x. But how many of them do we have? we have 12 of them. So I'm not going to draw all 12 here, okay? But we already know that we have 12 of those and only one of that. And we have to make a big square. So let's see if we can make this work. So we have this one big x squared, and then we have 12 of them. So if I want to complete a really, really big square, what do I have to do? I need to have like 6 of them, right? Remember we did this in class. We need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 rectangles that way. And then we need another 6 of them down here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so then that's what we did. We created x squared with the x squared and the 12x. This is what we have. And we already know, let's use common sense, that this is not a complete square. So what we have to do is go ahead and figure out how many little squares we need to fill up this space. Okay, and that was very easy. All we had to do was continue drawing our lines. And you know, when you had those little squares that I gave you, you did a great job. A lot of you understood it when I gave you the squares, right? So you just do that, and then you count how many little squares you have. And how did you do that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 over here, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 over there. So 6 times 6 is 36 if you were to count all of them. Okay? So then what do I know? I know that I need 36 ones, because this side is a 1 and this side is a 1. 1 times 1 is 1. So we need little onesie squares in order to complete the big square, right? So what number am I going to be adding to both sides? I'm going to have to add 36 here and add 36 here, right? And this was just one step of completing the square when we were working on this. Okay, but because this is your final is a multiple choice test, they're only asking you for one step. So what's your answer over here? 36, okay? But now let's go ahead and just use numbers and see if you remember. So if you look carefully, we can see a pattern, a formula that emerges, and that was what I really wanted you to figure out, because a lot of you still understand how to do this when I give you the drawing, but when I just ask you to do it mathematically and I don't mention the pictures, you get lost. So this is what happened, right? You see this number over here next to the x? Okay, first I made sure that the leading coefficient is a 1, because if it's something else, we gotta divide these two by that, okay? But the leading coefficient is a 1, so then I can use the 12, okay? The number next to the x. So then what I did was I did 12 divided by 2, and that gave me a 6. And this 6 tells me that I need to have 6 rectangles this way and 6 rectangles that way, because there's 12 of them. So I got to split it evenly in half, because we got to make a square. We cannot have like 4 here and then 8 here, because we're not trying to make a rectangle. We need to make a square. That means this side and this side has to be the same, right? And then once we get the 6, in order for me to go to the 36, what I had to do was square it. And how did I get that number? 6 squared means 6 times 6, and that equals 36. Well, I got that because I wanted to count all these little red squares, okay? And instead of just counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 like that, what I did was I went ahead and counted 6 here, 6 there, and then multiply 6 by 6, and that gives me how many there are right here. And that's what it is, okay? So mathematically, it's very easy to get to 36. There is a formula for that, you know. Everybody knows this is A, B, and C. Well, this is not a C, this is a negative C. But anyhow, all you have to do is B divided by 2, and then you square it. Okay, and in this case right now, B was a 12, and I think I'm confusing people, so I'm gonna stop right here. Anyhow, your answer is 36. Okay, your answer is 36. And if you know me at all, you know that the next step in completing the square is simplifying what you just did after adding 36 to both sides. So you know that that would be x plus 6, so it's x plus 6 squared. Okay, let me stop. This is beyond what you need to know for now, for this question, so I'm gonna stop. All right, anyhow. So then I want you to go ahead and solve 7b right here. Okay? Ready? Go. Thank you for being a great class. That's it for today.